Winter is coming as the final season of Game of Thrones is upon us. So is the first storm of the year. So it's time to get the snowblower out, make sure it's all ready to go. Well, the first thing I noticed when I brought it around was that it walked funny. So the very first thing I did was put air in the tires, because if it doesn't track straight, it means that there's no air in the tires, or it's imbalanced, and sure enough it was. Okay, so now that I have repaired the tire and I have 20 pounds in each side and it's balanced, the next thing is to make sure that the skids are even. Alright, next I'm going to adjust the skids, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to make sure that the scraper blade is uniform, level, adjusted, make sure it's not damaged, nicks. Then I'm going to lift it up about a 1/4 of an inch, between 1/8 and a 1/4 of an inch, try and get it as even as I can. I don't have a gravel driveway for gravel, probably 1/2 inch, even 3/4 of an inch height. But I don't need that, so I just have a couple wedges stuck underneath there. And then I'll just move the skid down to the carpet there. Just loosen these up. Make sure the skid is down flush here. And tighten it back up. And same thing with the other side. Now there's one other thing I learned, and that's with the chute discharge. If it doesn't go up and down freely like this, odds are that the nut is on too tight. And this is a locking nut. If you look on here, there's a little tab right there. That means it's a locking nut. So if you just back off on that a little bit, that'll probably solve your problem, because when it's too tight, it binds and it doesn't allow the bar to rotate freely on there. So let me over tighten it. See how it sticks? If you just back it off a little bit, it should flow freely. And remember, I just showed you that was a locking nut, so it shouldn't vibrate off. Another thing you want to check for is to make sure that your shear bolts are still in good shape, that they're not getting ready to shear. And that's about it. The rest is engine. So if you want to change the oil, check the oil, start it up, run it, make sure everything's okay before the first snow. I already did that to bring it into the garage, so with the engine running, kind of do a function check, make sure everything's working, make sure everything is, all your safety features stop when you let go of your handles, the augers stop turning, make sure your transmission is working, you can go forward and backwards, and make sure you can adjust your chute. And should be pretty much good to go. I really don't mess with anything unless it needs to be messed with. I don't take everything apart and lube everything all up. You know, I really don't see any grease fittings. You know, I've never had a differential or gearbox down there fail on me, so I've never really taken it apart and messed with it, because never had an issue with any of my snow blowers. So until I have an issue, I'll just leave it alone. And when I have an issue, I'll make a video on it. Okay, now it's time for the function check. So we are going to turn on the fuel. We're Going to choke it, throttle it up, prime it, and we go with ignition on and start.
It's cold.
Alright, well it's still snowing like crazy, but I want to get out here and use my snow blower, so here we go. So in case you didn't know about snow blowers here, this thing's almost like starting an airplane. We have fuel on, prime, throttle full, choke, and then ignition on. And pull.